Hi, welcome Brightlights to Healers with Humor, a podcast brought to you by Candice, the visionary behind Indiglow Soul, and Shelly, the owner of Finding Your Light. Join us as we explore the intricacies of our healing experiences and share the wisdom we've accumulated along the way. In each episode, we're going to invite you into our intimate conversations where we candidly explore the highs and the lows of our healing experiences. Through our podcast, we want to extend our hands to those navigating their own path of healing, offering a sanctuary of understanding and companionship. Whether you're navigating through the shadows of self-doubt or reveling in the glow of self-discovery, Healers with Humor is there to honor the strength that it takes to heal and celebrate the joys of self-love and growth. Join us on this journey, embracing the beauty of healing and the power of community.
Welcome back, Brightlights, to Healers with Humor, Season 1, Episode 14, How to Clear and Protect Your Energy. I'm Candice.
And I'm Shelly.
All right, Shelly, you are the queen of clearing and protecting energy, so let's jump into this conversation. Okay, I was just going to say, what is clearing and cleansing energy? What does that even mean?
So I want to go one step back.
Okay.
And I just want to say that I think there are three really important pieces to anyone's spiritual connection.
Okay.
Clearing and protection are two of the three, but another big piece is grounding, which we're not talking about today. So I really always put those three pieces together. When I start in the morning, I ground, clear, and protect.
Yes.
So I just think it's important for us to say that at the beginning.
Understood.
But as we focus on clearing and protecting energy today, a lot of what we're talking about is our own energy.
Yeah.
So I think when I say my energy, I think about my personal body, what's attached to me, what's around me. I think about my space, like my home. And then I think about, I'll say, tools that I use. So it could be crystals, it could be wands, but whatever folks are working with within their spiritual practice, those are the three big buckets that I think are important to both, cleanse and clear as well as protect. Are there anything else that you think are big buckets when you think about energy, as you're really good about remembering to clear your energy so often?
Yeah, I have to clear my energy a lot. I pick up a lot, so that I protect my energy a lot too. But no, I like, obviously, your physical person, the space that you're in, whether that's, your physical home or even your work. If you don't work in your home, if you actually go to an office.
The piece that I also think is, I'll say, as simplified as possible is that I want to be free of outside or negative influence, really just my energy. So when I think about clearing my energy or the energy of my home, sometimes I guess I'm even clearing from my own energy if it's, having a bad day and an attitude. But but I think of that as like, I want to start with a really sanitized, clean space to be making decisions or, diving into a spiritual practice. That's the goal, right? To be free of outside or negative influence.
Or what are some of the indications our listeners can look for if they are carrying, right, others' energy? So I guess on the flip side, what happens when we don't clear and cleanse our energy?
So, when I think of some of the more obvious things, I'm thinking like irritation, bad mood, indecisive. I don't feel like myself. Something that just doesn't fit, which people as empaths, right? It's more common for you to have energy that's not yours.
Yes.
And so you get a little bit more comfortable with that. And maybe it's easier to identify, but really, for me, a lot of times when I notice it, it's in something that doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that how you'd put it?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say a lot of times it'll impact my sleep. So if I'm carrying enough of somebody else's energy that just isn't, congruent for me, it'll impact my sleep. I would say, my body likes to talk to me in pain. I'll get some like random pain somewhere. And I'm like, that's random. Why am I feeling pain here? And that'll be a clue for me and then excessively tired. So like on the one side, not being able to sleep, on the other side, being excessively tired for some reason.
Yeah. So to me, all of those are good measures. In general, though, I think it's good to clear your energy every day.
Oh, for sure.
Particularly if you're working with people after each person that you've worked with.
Yes, that's a must.
But it definitely, depending on, I'll say, what's going on.
Mhm.
There are times that I've done it multiple times a day.
Yes.
So if we talk about an energy check or what you do, is there anything that you want to share that you personally do or how you go about that mental energy check?
Yeah. So for me, the mental energy check again is as I've learned my own energy, right? Because as an empath, it took me a while to strip back all of the, everybody else's stuff to really feel, okay, this is what Candice's energy feels like. But once I understood that, the mental check for me, else impacting me besides myself. And I just use, kind of my own intuition to see if I need to clear and cleanse. But yeah, I definitely start every day. We pick up stuff in her dreams, right? So like, let's start the day off right. And yeah, ground and cleanse and protect that energy. I also do it right before I go to bed.
Yeah, to definitely help you sleep. Well, I am similar in that I love a pendulum, right? We've said that before. You won't find me without one. But certainly that kind of mental check that we just talked about, right? Where do I feel like myself?
Yeah.
Does this feel like it belongs? Is it a mood fitting to what's happening with my day, right? Because a lot of times it'll be out of place.
Right.
It can be for many other reasons, but one of them can certainly be someone else's energy. But I think about, using muscle testing or the pendulum or the sway test to kind of say, is this my energy? Do I need to clear? One of my favorite ways that you have taught me to do is are my cells spinning?
Oh, yeah.
Backwards.
Yep.
Or in the wrong direction. And that's certainly one of those things that I view. The best way that I view it is when someone's in what I call a spiral. That's probably one of the easiest to identify times that your cells are spinning backwards or incorrectly.
Yep.
Indecisive is another, but also for entities and attachments.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because we pick up things as we go out into the world, or we have conversations, or, visit with others in our home or out in the world.
Yeah.
To me, all of those things leave energy, right? We've talked about intentions and words and thoughts having energy. And that's why it's so important to clear and protect.
Yeah. So I would say from an entity standpoint, right, that is innately a negative energy, right, that we don't want on us. But because you've probably anchored, right, a lot more light, they're attracted. And so once you are on this journey, this spiritual journey, this healing journey, and you do anchor more light and have a higher vibration, things are going to, like, those types of energies you're going to be more attractive to them. So that's one thing to be aware of. On the opposite side, if we drop our vibration too low, right, then there are also energies that can come in and attach to us. I will say that what I've learned recently, or over the last year or so, is that we can have, we've lived a long life to this point, and there have been situations that we have had these negative energies come towards us or attached to us. And because we weren't aware or awake or whatever, we didn't know that. And as we clear those layers of energy, they become more present to be released. And so, I was, like I told you right before we got on, my husband was like, I feel kind of achy. This was yesterday. And so I have a core couple things that I check him for, and nothing was coming up for it. So I went to the, trusted body code, And it was an entity, and it was an old entity, one from, when he was like 21. But he's done enough work now, right, that those old energies are no longer congruent in his body. So it was ready to be released, and it was showing up as physical pain in his body. And within 10 minutes of releasing it, he was fine.
Yeah. So I think what we should kind of take a second to do, one of the ways that you were introduced to entities is via emotion code, body code, and belief code.
Yes.
And if I think about those different programs, right, it's in trapped emotions, it's in trauma and releasing, but those programs actually cover curses, entities, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions.
Yeah. Saboteurs.
Yep. So thinking about all of those things in a healing session, but they're also the things that on a daily basis you're clearing when you clear your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about, yes, you can, we can clear energy for people, right? We and I both do that. But what are some of the ways or kinds of things that you would use to clear your own energy?
So I certainly think that I spend a lot of intention working to clear my energy. Another big part of that for me is using the pendulum and crystals.
Yep.
So in particular, in my home, I like to use selenite.
Yes.
And also use shungite for the, I'll say, heavier stuff.
Yep.
But I think using the intention with a pendulum or muscle testing or sway testing to really focus on clearing any other energy that's not my own, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it is my own, right? Bad moods, frustration, stress, grumpiness. And then the other thing that I really like is candles and essential oils.
Yeah.
So I think about frankincense and myrrh. So whenever I do homes, I'm doing it with either incense, frankincense, and myrrh, or using crystal swords to actually clear and cleanse the energy.
Nice.
So I happen to love crystals and candles. And so those are ways in which I'll say I increase my intention, right?
Yes.
But I do think intention is the idea of intention and clearing your energy is the biggest piece.
Yep. I use Palo Santo essential oil. So in the apartment, I don't like to burn too much. The fire.
Oh, sure.
Fire alarms are a little sensitive. And so I use Palo Santo in my office a lot after I've cleared my own energy or I've worked on a client. I like that one. What are some of the other ways that we can clear?
Yes. The other thing that I want to make sure that we talk about in this is that because you introduced me to it, let's talk about the pendulum that you have.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say does a much better job than the average pendulum.
Yes.
Will you just chat about that for a second?
Sure. So this pendulum, and I can link it in the notes. It's from the Vesica Institute. It is a biogeometric pendulum, and it is specifically made and carved to release energy. And this pendulum has been a lifesaver for me, especially in clearing other people's energy after sessions. So it is something that I use every single time. And sometimes multiple times in a day if I've picked up too much energy from someone as an empath or I've resonated with their story, right, a little bit more than others. But this pendulum, I basically hold it in front of me and just ask to clear very specific energy, clear X's energy from my body. And it'll spin backwards until it's done clearing, and then it'll flip depending on, the way that your yes and your no looks like. So it'll say no until it's done clearing, and then it'll flip to say yes. But that's been a huge part of my practice for a long time. And you're able to use that to not only clear other people's energy, but your own energy. I very distinctly remember having what felt like a gallbladder attack of some sort. And I don't know that we've talked a lot about past lives on this podcast, but it was definitely coming from a past life. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have to go to the hospital or not. I was in so much agony. And so I just used this pendulum for probably 30 minutes and just asked for all of the energy, from, future, whatever, past, present, and future to release from my body to make it feel better. And it eventually did. And then I was completely fine. So you can release your own energy, right, from using this pendulum as well, holding it in front of certain parts of your body. Gee, my knee hurts. Just hold it in front of it and see what it does. And if there's energy there that needs to be released, it'll spin to a no until it's all released. But it's a beautiful pendulum.
Yeah, and it's definitely for what I'll refer to as heavier energy.
Yeah.
Because in the instance of when I was using that on a regular basis, it was layers and layers in my throat chakra
Mm-hmm.
and family and ancestral throat chakra work. So definitely a unique and different way to clear energy and sort of that step further. I do want to make sure that as we're talking about clearing energy, right? We're clearing ourselves, we're clearing our homes, we're clearing, I'll say, our tools. And I think that's, that's where you dwell. But the other things that I wanted to make sure that we talked about are some of the other important places when you really want to clear and cleanse.
Okay.
And I think of that as like you move into a new home. It's not a new home. And even if it is, right?
Even if it is.
All the different, builders and contractors and workers, right? They all have their own energy. And all of that is going into the home that's being built or the person who brings in the refrigerator, the person who put the refrigerator together, right? All of those people's energies are coming in together in the home. So it's when you first move into a home or you're trying to sell a home, right? And change the energy. It's because a lot of times people sell homes after, a death or of a family member, after a divorce. Certainly all of that has energy.
Yes.
Clearing your own home and self after, a fight. I've been on the phone with a person before and it got a little heated, right? And to come back in and clear that energy is really important.
Yep. Even after sickness.
Yeah, that's, I matter of fact, I've been sick this week, and it was one of the things I asked, is there anything else I need to clear from my body and my space, right? You wash the sheets.
Yeah.
You'll Lysol everything down, but also doing it with your energy. I've seen a lot of people do it with their food. A lot of people who do Reiki, they place their hands over their food before they eat. And how many times have we talked about getting things from food being delivered, our groceries? And so clearing, your food, whether you just, put your hands over it or set the intention, prepare and clear this food for my body.
Yep.
One of the other things that I've seen is people, they bring outside plants and they bring them in.
Okay.
We won't get into all of the magical pieces of, I'll say, fairies and gnomes and dwarfs and the like, but certainly, you're bringing it from the outside into your home. It's a good idea just to say, hey, clear these plants as they come into my home.
Yes.
The other big thing that holds a lot of energy, antiques.
Yes.
I love shopping for antiques, right? And we love the fact that we have something that's 100 years old, that's been in, let's say multiple homes. But clearing the energy of that is huge.
Yes.
Because you're bringing that into your home, into your environment, and it's, the energy of other families, other environments. All of that is real energy.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Even, especially antiques, but I would say even anything that you get, any clothes that you buy at the store or anything that you're buying, at the thrift shop, clothes hold energy too. And so making sure that you're clearing and cleansing really anything that you're purchasing. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, right, like this big major event. It's just, it could be intention, right? I clear and cleanse this, this item. And then you move on. It doesn't have to be, a big event.
Yeah. And then as we start to move into protection, I think that obviously the things that what we've just talked about, why you would want to clear energy and the kinds of energy that you're clearing, right? You're also doing protection for those same reasons.
Yes.
So maybe you don't come home with so many different dust bunnies. Right. And it doesn't take you a couple days to figure out. I just had the incident that we just talked about this week. I had a handyman come in.
Mm-hmm.
They were working outside, but I let them come in to use the bathroom. It didn't even occur to me to clear my home of other people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had I'll just say, an interesting evening and a frustrating morning. And when I really sat down to say, what is going on? It's that someone else's energy was in my home.
Yeah.
And so I know what my home feels like, right? I know what my energy feels like.
Yep.
I know things that should feel easy to me, easy decisions to make,
Mm-hmm.
easy questions to ask my intuition about. Everything was frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Everything was difficult, challenging. And really what that was is someone else's energy. They came into the home, deposited the energy, and went back out, and it stayed.
Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't belong there, right?
Right. So thinking about all of the things that we just talked about on what you would want to clear from, why you want to feel your own energy, right? It's the same reason that you want to do with protection. So I think of protection as also being very intentional. As I cleanse my energy, I also then want to protect my energy. I want to protect my physical energy of my body, my home, and my space.
Yes.
And then certainly, as we've talked about, curses and entities and spirits, I think of protection as really being even more vital for those things.
Agree. The more we can protect, the less we have to cleanse. Yeah. And I'll just say, we can, we have our own energy, obviously, and we can leak energy. And so that's something that came up for me recently. And, it wasn't something that I was able to identify for myself. Like I kept having this issue and I would clear and cleanse and protect and, do all the things I knew to do. But when I was talking to Shelly about it, she was like, oh, well, you're leaking energy through your root chakra. I was like, oh, well, why am I doing that? And so that just brought up a whole nother, right, thing that I could work on, understanding why I was losing, right, energy from my root chakra. Who was I allowing it to go to? What was coming in its place? Because I wasn't feeling like myself and I was feeling off and having digestive issues. And so once I've been able to really hone in on that, the digestive issues are completely gone. Yeah. So we can lose energy, right, too, in various ways.
Yeah, certainly we can have holes or gaps in our aura, in our chakra, be sending out energy. People can take energy. And so really understanding, right, protecting and clearing and protecting each of those spaces and having an awareness of what's going on, right, in and outside of your body, really important.
Yes.
So obviously we've started the conversation about how you would go about protecting yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that you aren't sending out energy or that someone else isn't taking it.
Yes.
What are other ways that you put protection in place?
I like a bubble. So every morning when I call in my spirit team and I ask them for help every day in every way, I put myself in a bubble, and this bubble now has a dual purpose. Before it was more of the energy that was coming at me, protecting me from the energy coming at me. And it still does that, but I've added an additional layer recently of understanding how much my body wants to take from other people to help them feel better. And so I've added another layer of protection, again, through help that, you and I have worked on, helping me understand that piece. So there's an added layer of me not protecting myself from taking on too much from other people. And when I say this isn't clients. This is like at the grocery store, right? This is at the beach. This is, at the clubhouse. This is at wherever. Me just seeing something and my body being like, oh, I can take that and help them. That's not good for my body. It never was. And now it's at like a critical point where I can feel the I can feel when my body's doing it. So added a layer of protection so that I'm not actively taking things on for other people who didn't ask me for their help, by the way, right?
You're like a good Samaritan.
Yeah, exactly. And then in this bubble of protection, and then I clear up, right, any leaks or holes or, make sure it's good, but all the goodness is able to come through it, right? All the good feels, all the good energy is able to flow through this bubble beautifully. It's just the negative things that would be coming at me or that I would be taking on from other people. It's protecting.
Yeah, because I think about particularly the things that would then cause you physical symptoms.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. What about you? I feel like you have a
So I'm big on one of the very first things that I learned at my very first class was saying a protection prayer.
Okay.
So using both source and different colors of light to
Mhm.
really put out a layer of protection. So that's how I start all my sessions as well as each
Yes.
meditation that I do.
Okay.
So that's sort of my big one that I never go without. The other piece is really asking my team for protection,
Mm-hmm.
asking my guides to be there to add in protection.
Yes.
Because in the healing journey that I've had, I've needed such a large protection team
Mm-hmm.
based on like to your point that you made earlier, right? As you bring in all of this light, it's very attractive.
Yes.
And so I have a very large group of guides that help with protection. And so I want to be grateful and thankful and intentional about asking them to do that work for me. So much of it, I'm even unaware of it. And in the past,
Yes.
I've actually borrowed some of your team.
That's right. That's right.
When there have been some, I'll just say, really deep healing work that's required me not only me asking for help, but also asking other healers and their teams to help with that.
Yes.
In that layer of protection.
Yep. I've had those instances as well when I've had a reading with someone or a healing and they're like, I'm lending you my guide for a little while or, adding an additional layer of protection for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I've experienced that as well.
Yeah. So it's quite beautiful, right? When other people's spirit teams
Yes.
and guides and angels come in for additional support.
Yes.
It speaks to the relationship and the friendship. Then there's just some of the fun stuff that I like to do. So I love to wear crystals. So I have an empathic protection bracelet that I wear and other bracelets for different reasons, but particularly for protection.
Yes.
I like to use tourmaline.
Yes.
And so that's one of the main crystals. But then also I love to program quartz. So because North Carolina has a lot of quartz that you find naturally, I have it at the front door outside and have asked that group of quartz crystals to really man the door per se about what comes in. Now, got outsmarted, right? Because the handyman came in through the garage, not the front door. Right. So I, breaches in the fortress.
Yeah.
But what you realize, right, is that it's a good remembrance, right? When I see the quartz at the front door, I remember that I need to cleanse it and reprogram it.
Yes.
And when I see each of the crystals that I have set up in my home, right, that they're working for you. They're great for protection, right? But you got to clean them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they get full because they've done their job.
Yeah. Particularly the ones that you sleep with, right? So the ones that are on the bedside, like you said, you pick up a lot of stuff in dreams. Those are doing a lot of work.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I have chunks of black tourmaline at the front door and have, done my blessing or my, protection over the front door so that nothing comes in that we're protecting. I protect my energy a lot. My husband does, the best he can, but this isn't what he lives and breathes every day, right? So he might pick up something at the, the grocery store, or the gym or wherever. So intentionally putting those there so that anybody that walks through the front door, it's gathering, right? The energy that doesn't belong for us. And then, we get to cleanse it, thank it and cleanse it so it can do its job again.
Yeah. So if I think about, this is probably a good start to clearing and cleansing as well as protecting your energy and your space.
Yes.
But I think what we've said is the biggest thing is awareness and intention.
Agree.
Being aware of your own energy, making the intention to clear your energy, and making the intention or asking, guides and angels for protection. So it's free.
That's right.
Or you can get all into the woo-woo, right? If you really enjoy the crystals and the essential oils and the extra tools. For me, a lot of those things are either visual reminders or scent reminders, right? I smell frankincense and myrrh and I know, right, what we're doing, right?
Yes.
It really intensifies my intention for me.
Yes. And we'll link some products to the notes for some of those protection crystals that we both like, some oils and different things, the pendulum. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can take a look at those links.
Yeah, I love it. But definitely, again, make sure to ground, clear, and protect your energy. There's lots of available resources online. And certainly this is a good place to start. So I
Yes.
can't wait to hear how you all, Bright Lights, are clearing and protecting your energy. Some tips that you'd have for us and our audience members.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing I'll throw in there is Hertz music. I like to play Hertz music in the apartment to keep the vibration high.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, Bright Lights. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Bye.
As we conclude this episode of Healers with Humor, we want to express our deepest gratitude to you, fellow Bright Lights. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt exploration. Our journey began with a chance encounter at an expo, two souls seeking healing and connection. Through shared experiences, laughter, and tears, we forged a bond rooted in trust, love, and the relentless pursuit of growth. We invite you to continue this journey with us by sharing your own healing stories and connecting with us. Your presence in our community enriches our collective healing experience, and we're honored to walk alongside you. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore topics that resonate with the soul, offering insights, guidance, and inspiration along the way. Until then, remember, you are not alone on your healing journey. Thank you for tuning in, and may your path be illuminated with love, courage, and endless possibilities.